Hello. Welcome. Been a while since I've done any FF14 related stuff, as is often the case. This is one of those days. Because I don't follow FF14 news, as I keep on saying in my videos, but I feel like I have to reiterate this each time because I have no idea whether people watch any of my FF14 content. I didn't know that the FanFest is currently going on in Europe. So one of the first things that I found out about it in terms of, oh, it's going on, is just a list of videos appearing on my recommendations, subscriptions thing. So I know the name of the new tank class coming out in EVERCOLD because I've seen the thumbnail. I know that there are 3 videos about areas, the little kind of show-off things, but I have zero context for any of them, apart from what I had kind of heard about for the previous kind of stuff that I'd seen, where things look like they're going a little bit Viking-esque, if we want to take that kind of almost pop culture presentation of Vikings that's familiar to people who've played God of War, Ragnarok, and so on and so forth. So that's basically all I know. So I've got 5 videos to watch. Whether I'm going to put these all out in one go, I don't know. Obviously, these aren't reaction videos in the sense that you're going to have my stupid face on screen because I don't have the camera set up anymore. It was just in the way and I was never using it. So you'll have the joy of my croaky voice instead. I'm still very excited for EVERCOLD, just like I am, every time an FF14 patch comes around, but I'm not what you might consider an active daily player. To be fair, I've never really been what you might consider an active daily player. I play around patches, I dip into it constantly. When I feel like it, every now and again I'll have a week where I just log in for dailies, like every day, and do some daily quests or do some roulettes or what have you. I'm in a free company, but I don't interact with any of them. I don't do any guild stuff. In some ways, it's the perfect MMO for a solo player like myself, whose friends aren't interested in playing. Anyway, so the EVERCOLD extended teaser trailer. Now, I'm going to be honest, I can't remember the original trailer. So it'll come back to me, obviously. I vaguely recall Helmut, was it, kneeling in the snow? But I watched it just before I played the last patch. So yeah, let's
Peggy 16.
Let's find out. This is the UK version of the trailer. Oh yeah, this was the stuff that I was thinking final days, but actually it's kind of pseudo rejoining. We know a bit more about this now. The Winterers and whatever the rejoining thingy was called. It's been a while. I say that a lot. So, Azam in the Key, previous expansions. I forgot what they called this. Oh, this was the trailer with the stitching, wasn't it? And the little girl.
Oh, you know it better than me by now. But if you insist. Yes! Alright, I'm ready. Tell me about the Promised Land.
Promised Land.
Long ago. In a time few yet recall. Life prospered.
So this is all the same as far as I know. Yeah, this was a really cool effect. I like this. I'd be really interested, just because I am fascinated by this kind of stuff, in how this was made. I feel like the audio balance is a bit weird. Us, Andestinian, and sadly, Alphano. Pew pew pew. We've landed on a really tiny island and we don't have any way of getting off there.
Came the relentless ice. The world grew cold, cold and still. Men succumbed to bitter sorrow.
I believe this trailer is a good couple of minutes longer.
They marched.
Big giant beasties.
We had no choice but to flee to the skies.
Oh, this is new. A small child with a bird. Whoa. Ooh. Aha! These are the realm ships. So these are, I'm assuming, going to be our zones. We're going to have like multiple of them. I know I've got 3 videos worth to watch, but this is the new tank, I believe, just based on the thumbnail. Isn't that... What's his face? I want to say Ritalin, but it's not. It's Ritatin? Ooh. Oh, that's very cool. And edgy. It's us? Except not quite as Vieira. Whoa. Whoa. Raid boss? Oh, that's pretty. That's Helmut, isn't it? I think. No, he's got no glasses. Huh. Not sure.
And then what happened? The land below became a frozen waste.
And that gets us back to the original bit from the trailer.
But everything changed when they arrived.
They.
The traveller. The one from the sky.
Aye.
In those days, we knew them as Far Wanderer.
Far Wanderer. Ooh. Did we have that on the logo before? January 2027. There's a little bit more. No. Taking you to the next level. You mean I've been given a level cap increase? That's nice of it. Okay, so not a huge amount extra. Well, actually, no, to be fair, there's a good couple of minutes extra there, isn't there? So let's mute that because I always screw this up. So yes, as I was saying, I'd like to know how this was done. I love the fact that they've modelled the sheep, although the sheep are massive. It has to be said. Maybe that's just a foreshortening thing. I don't know. I mean, Square Enix always does really, really good CGI trailers. But this obviously, with further advances in lighting and realistic material rendering and so on and so forth, it just gets better and better and better. You know, your subsurface scattering on the skin texture, resolution, all of that kind of jazz. I don't really know a lot about the technicalities of this, but, you know, watching this in 4K is nice. This video is not going to be in 4K. Because I have forgotten to change it to 4K. Mind you, I suppose I could do that for the next bit and just overlay this over the top. Yeah, so we've got new bits. Let's get to the new bits. We've got these giant beasties. I can't remember whether I said anything about these giant beasties. These, I think, would make... I'm going to say they'd make kind of cool Fate-style world bosses. But world bosses in FF14 have never really been something that I've done. You know, almost all of the world boss achievements that you can get in FF14, you know, stuff for Ixion and so on and so forth, I've not done any of them because they are only available at certain times. Which means that you've got to be playing fairly regularly to keep on top of all of this stuff, and I just never have. Right, past this, we've got a person with a wand. Now, aren't we supposed to be getting a new tank class and a new ranged DPS? In which case, I'm going to assume that this is one of two things. This is either going to be an important Makote character, and it is a Makote because she's got the cat eyes and the ears, but she's also got a wand. Now, is it due to be a caster DPS? It's not, is it? Because didn't we just have painter? So I don't know about that, unless the bird has got some nice little details here. But she makes this symbol, which I suspect is probably of some importance. Nah. Trying to freeze frame stuff on these videos is always a nightmare thanks to the UI. So, I mean, if it's a fizz range, because what do we have with fizz range? We've got Machinist, we have got Dancer, and we have got Bard. Whereas for magical ranged, we've got Black Mage, Red Mage. I keep going to call them Painter. It's Pictomancer, isn't it? Black Mage, Red Mage, Picto. Am I missing one? I feel like I'm missing one. I don't play the range classes. I play tanks and I play Reaper. And I will occasionally dip into healers. But as I said, I don't play often enough for it to really make a difference anymore. Unless... Again, maybe I'm reading too much into this, but... You know, this might not be a representative of the new class at all, but the little wand thing and the bird, it's like it's a very specific detail to be introduced into a trailer. It could just be a cool character that can speak to or interact with animals. I know we've got the Beastmaster coming at some point. I never got on particularly well with the limited jobs of Blue Mage. I really wanted to because I love the idea of Blue Mage. But the fact that they made it a limited job, just... I get it, it's not going to be balanced in the same way. I'm assuming Beastmaster is going to be exactly the same thing. I played a chunk of Beastmaster in FF11. Not a huge amount, but I did play a chunk of it. I liked the idea. I like the idea of Beastmaster. I like the idea of Puppet Master. Pup I played the most of the three kind of pets style classes. Or animal related, I suppose. Blue Mage, Puppet Master. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know what to think about this, but you know, a cool little Kid Makote character throwing birds at people. We got a lovely sweeping shot. I'm going to assume that this is the new capital because they do tend to introduce the capitals in these. This reminds me of something like Terra or Ion in terms of it's a little bit anime grandeur, but also it ties into that kind of Norse mythology style aspect that we seem to be going for, because this is, well, I'm not going to say clearly, but it very much looks like it's carved out of a tree, or at least there are a lot of kind of tree related motifs everywhere. So I'm assuming there's a certain degree of, oh, this was grown, or at least grown around something potentially, which I quite like. And again, in 4K the quality is wonderful. This is a zone, clearly, isn't it? You know, this isn't just an area that we're going to visit. This is an actual zone. We're going to be able to fly around here. There's fields and pastures, and there's going to be fates and quests. It looks very zone-sized. And then that is the city that we've just looked at, but it looks like it's got an additional bubble or something over the top of part of it. Unless that's, again, a perspective thing, and that's like the engine or something. But this is the water one, because you got a giant watery crystal, but also you got loads of kind of water magic. And is that looks like almost a Sahagin style water dragon or serpent style thing. As I said, I've got the other three. No, well, there's 4 of the videos, but I've got the 3 realm ones that they've got lined up to watch after this. But yeah, that's totally a zone, isn't it? We're going to be able to fly around here, might even be able to dive underwater. That's something I'd really like them to be able to do more with. You know, if any of you've played Guild Wars 2, and I haven't played Guild Wars 2 in years, but one thing that I really liked about Guild Wars 2 was the fact that it had underwater combat. It wasn't massively complicated the last time I played it. It might be better now, I don't know. But the fact that there was something interesting to do underwater, I vaguely recall somebody saying that 8.0 was going to be the expansion where they started really changing things up. You know, there's been this idea for a while that FF14 has become a tad safe and a tad stale in its systems. And I believe they're doing something with combat. Is it Combat Evolved? Or no, that's Halo. I can't remember what it's called. There's a new kind of combat system or something that they're introducing, and it's kind of optional, and you can switch between the two or something. I don't know. As I said, I've not watched the keynotes or anything for this, for the reasons that I don't want the Solution 9 style spoilers. You know, this is fine. But it was. I'm just still very bitter about that big Solution 9 spoiler. You know, show us all of the other zones. You know, up to Heritage Found. Show us everything up until the level 95 stuff. You know, Yaxalani and so on and so forth. Show us everything up to the Wild West zone and no more. And leave some surprises for us as players. You know, we had in Shadowbringers, we had I can't remember the name of the final watery zone. Again, I don't play enough to remember these, but that when we rounded that corner and we saw Amarat, I was like, holy shit. It's like, leave us some of that. So far, and I might think differently after watching these REALMSHIP videos, but so far this isn't too bad. But yeah, this is very clearly zone-sized, isn't it? You know, it reminds me of something. I like the fact there's a different shape as well. Now, I'd say the same thing about this, but this looks more like a dungeon to me. This looks like something Alexander styled. Not Alexandria, that's different. This looks like a big floating forge port style thing or a foundry of epic proportions. So maybe a raid? It doesn't look open enough to be a zone. Yeah. There's not enough kind of field area, I don't think. So maybe another hub city? Maybe a raid? Maybe just a dungeon that we visit? I'd love to be surprised. I'd love for this to be an actual zone area, but that would involve having multiple tiers and elevators or teleport pads, and I kind of feel that might be a bit of a load on their servers, because obviously what I don't want them to do is do what they still had to do with LIMSA, which is, you know, split a hub into multiple zoned areas. But yeah, again, very cool, very nicely realised. I suppose there could be. This strikes me more like a dungeon, frankly. Oh no, never mind. So this is why I watched these through again. So that gives us our sense of scale. Now it does look like shit is going down in here. And here we get our first look at the tank class job. Yeah, so this reminds me very much of... I'm going to keep on calling him Ritalin. The guy that we fought in is it Camp or Cape Westwind? Do we even still do that? Because it used to be a dungeon. It used to be an 8-person dungeon. Back when the game first released, back in 2010, was it? Was it 2013 for When We Born? I forget. It's been a long time, alright? And yeah, he was kind of a pain in the ass because he was, you know, an 8-person dungeon, and there were a lot of cutscenes, and it... As a new player, it was kind of cool, but as somebody that got dropped into it in Duty Roulette a lot, less so. But that's what this reminds me of. You know, he's got massive shields, but he's also got guns. Now, I've got it's called, was it Bastion? I think it was Bastion. I've got the kind of reveal trailer queued up for coming after this. So maybe it'll give us more context there. But I don't see the point in giving a tank guns. Because the whole way this game works is if you're tanking, you are pulling the enemies away from the group and you are holding them in range of yourself. So unless this is a guy with lots of bind spells, I don't quite get the point of him having guns. Now, don't get me wrong, you know, the FF8 character, the Gunblade, you know, cool weapon, but it's not actually used as a gun. It, you know, it has a range shot for pulling, but that's basically it. We'll see. You know, maybe he's just got a fancy AoE. I mean, it's all going to work the same anyway. It's not exactly a dynamic combat system. Although I suppose it does depend on what they do with this kind of combat system refresh. Got a very kind of militaristic, almost Admiralty style uniform here. I'm assuming this is going to be their artifact armor, because that is what they tend to wear in these trailers, the iconic looks for the characters. Did we get a little bit more? No. So there's combat going on. We've got some classic armor pieces. We've got loads of drones. I am wondering whether this is a dungeon. It does have dungeon style thing. This is just showing off. This is us as a Reaper. Oh, that's a nice dramatic and dynamic pose, isn't it? I have to wonder. This thought has literally just occurred to me. In the last round of MSQ that I played, where Helmut is... I'm going to keep on calling her Helmut. I hope that is the right Ascian that I'm talking about, as I haven't been back and watched any of my stuff. She conjures Xenos' scythe on the moon to taunt us, to make us think about things, because she's talking about how our willingness to try and save everybody, or our stubbornness, is going to cause, our selfishness almost, in terms of our... She almost hints that we are prideful, or implies that we are prideful in that sense. She kind of implies that will be the downfall of everybody if we try and save everybody. And I wonder whether we are iconically a Reaper in this expansion because of that. Because of that reminder of what Xenos was. I find that quite an interesting idea, the fact that we're moving forward into this expansion not because of what we need to be necessarily to do the job, but because of that reminder of who Xenos was, and maybe we are stepping into their shoes in order to break away, narratively speaking, from those kind of personality traits that Xenos has. Or maybe that reminder has actually set us down a path that maybe isn't for the best. But I'm excited for this, because obviously for Shadowbringers I was a Dark Knight, because I've always been a Dark Knight player, and now for this I get to play the job that I've been maining since Reaper was released. The one DPS job that I've actually managed to find and stick with in any MMO ever. I've played a lot of MMOs, but this is the only one that I will actually continue to play DPS as. Normally I will play tank or I will play healer, and I did that for most of my FF14 time. But Reaper, and you could call me an edgy boy or whatever, but I really enjoy the playstyle of Reaper. It's got just the right combination of stuff to be simplistic enough that I can enjoy it, though not play it very well, but involved enough to keep me on my toes, so to speak. And if you've ever watched any of my previous videos, you'll know that I really, really like Reaper, but I'm constantly saying, well, I don't play very often, so I can never remember how to play it properly. So that's super cool that I get to once again play the iconic job for the expansion. Now this thing is there's a very interesting painterly quality about this. This fire that's spurting out of its horns and head and beard. Not only does it look like fire, but it also looks just kind of organic. It looks tree-like, naturalistic. And I think that's probably tying into the theme of the world. This gigantic thing through its chest is quite interesting. Lots of kind of knotwork style things and spirals. But it does have that mythical beast style look to it. And in terms of its scale, it's obviously massive. It wouldn't surprise me if its name was some kind of twist or bend on SURTR, the fire giant from Norse mythology. Apologies, I've just realised how gravelly my voice is sounding. I've still got several videos to go. Oops. Again, just from an artistic point of view, great texture work, really interesting looking enemy. I'm assuming enemy, could be friend. In terms of scale, this reminds me quite a lot of Titan from FF16 in terms of this thing's fucking huge. Because we've already had that sense of scale as we were exploring this. I mean, if this was a dungeon, that's not going to be a dungeon final boss, is it? I wouldn't think. This would be a trial at the very least. But I don't know how they would design an encounter in FF14 to fight something of this scale. So I'd be very intrigued as to, I'm super intrigued as to what is going on with that. It could be a friend. The fact that everything is in the clouds is quite a useful conceit, because obviously they can hide the lower body and any kind of weird stuff. Yeah, that's very, very cool. Then we get this super fancy shot. This has got like real Mother Crystal style vibes to it, but it's not, is it? It's a frozen tree, I think. This, you can just about see it's a giant fir tree. So is this the source of the ice that has frozen this world? Again, it's certainly not as big in scale as that giant that we've just seen. These are, I'm assuming, relatively normal sized redwood style trees. But this is, and of course it's also got that bird iconography, which I quite like. There's not really enough here to give us a sense of what that is. But is she praying at the base of it? Why is she disappearing? And who's this chap? Questions. And then we are back to the bit of the trailer that we've already seen. Yeah. Whee! Yes, so that was my reaction to and thoughts on the Final Fantasy XIV EVERCOLD extended teaser trailer. Obviously, there will still be one more trailer to come. I am assuming some kind of November, December time. And then I think there'll probably be a launch trailer, won't there? Sometime around January, which is when it's due to come out. I don't know what it doesn't give us a specific date, does it? No, it's just January 2027. So sometime in Jan. I continue to be very excited for this. Everything that I've seen so far has me intrigued, and I have not yet had something that has made me go, why did they have to show us this? This is... This looks within the realm of, this is fine for me in terms of reveals. It was just the Solution 9 stuff, essentially. I don't think they should have shown that. I just hope they don't do a similar thing again. I'm going to go and set up for the next. Either the next video or the next part of this video, depending on how I break it up. We'll see. I don't have a plan. If I end it here though, thank you very much for watching. What are your thoughts on the EVERCOLD teaser trailer? What are your thoughts on my thoughts? That made sense, didn't it? That made sense in my head when I said it. Yeah, really looking forward to seeing and to hearing actually what other people are saying. But again, if there's been any Solution 9 style stuff revealed, please don't spoil that for me. I want to just... I want to experience the story without that kind of big twisty style thing being ruined for me. It was Square Enix that ruined it previously. I don't know whether there's any way of telling, oh, this is going to spoil things for me. So it'll be my own fault, realistically, if I keep on watching these trailers and videos and they end up ruining stuff, but it is what it is. Thanks for watching, though. Have a great day. Bye. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, why not click the like button and consider subscribing. Remember, you can ring the bell notification icon to get notified when new videos go live. And until next time, cheerio.